Race 2 of a doubleheader Sunday of NASCAR Thunder 2004 action on the channel as we go to Bristol Motor Speedway for the Sharpie 500 Bristol night race right here at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are about to get this one underway. Should be a lot of fun as long as we make it through the end of the race. Obviously, we've had problems with that over the last 24 hours, both at Watkins Glen last night and the first race of our doubleheader earlier this afternoon as well at Michigan. But here today for Bristol, it should be a lot of fun. As mentioned, we're about to get into action. We qualified ninth place, so let's see what Terry Labonte can do throughout the course of the race. Remember, at the beginning of the season, Labonte was probably the best driver, if not the absolute best driver. There's pretty much no debate about it. On the short tracks, he won at both Bristol, Martinsville, and Richmond coming into this race here today already. So looking to sweep Bristol. He's a Bristol night race winner in the past. We'll see if he can do it once again for Hendrick Motorsports today. Taking through today's starting lineup as well as other related thoughts coming into the race as well. So stay tuned for the 500 lap Bristol night race. Frankie Smith, welcome to the stream.
And we're ready to go racing under the lights. It's the Sharpie 500 brought to you by EA Sports. As usual, 43 cars will start this race. And when they get lined up to take the green, they'll take up more than half the racetrack.
A lot of these teams don't like coming here too much. There isn't a whole lot of room out there, which usually leads to a week of work in the body shop. There probably won't be a single car at the end that doesn't at least have a scratch or two, and some will be much worse than that.
Jeff Gordon has a string of top fives going.
He can sure gain a lot of points if he continues his top five streak. It just goes to show it doesn't always take wins to move up in the points.
Terry Labonte has been pretty rough with the other drivers lately.
That's true, and maybe NASCAR needs to start taking a look at this situation. You got a guy who's really letting his emotions get the best of him, and it's possible his judgment is a little impaired on the racetrack.
They act like it's my fault. That's hilarious. Been far from it, my friend.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Over 150,000 virtual fans here strong at the Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights as they are ready for the drop of the green flag. So we will take it through today's starting lineup presented by no sponsor right now. Jeff Gordon will be on the pole. Dale Jarrett will be starting outside pole in second. Gordon, former winner of the Bristol night race himself. Bobby Labonte, who had a great car, great run at Michigan, didn't get the finish he necessarily deserved, starts inside in row number 2 with Ricky Rudd, who's outside starting in 4th. Mark Martin and Ryan Newman will be in row number 3. Newman, probably the hottest driver currently on the NASCAR circuit. Kurt Busch and Dale Jr. will be in row 4. Jr. comes in with just a 36-point lead over Jeff Gordon, who is the pole sitter once again. Terry Labonte, Matt Kenseth will be in row number 5. Labonte, the most winningest driver this year, though outside of his win in the Brickyard 400, just one win in the last 11 races. Ricky Craven and Robbie Gordon will be in row number 6. In row number 7, it'll be Bill Elliott and Jeff Burton. Elliott, who crashed into Labonte at the end of the Michigan race. Well, not the end of it, but the ending of Labonte's portion of the Michigan race. He's looking to rebound here today as well. Elliott Sadler, Jerry Nadeau in row number 8. And row number 9, multi-time winner here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. One of the more winningest drivers here, Rusty Wallace. Outside of him, Michael Waltrip. And row number 10, it'll be Tony Stewart and Joe Nemechek. 4th straight race for Tony Stewart, qualifying outside the top 15. He looked fast at Michigan earlier today. Also didn't get the finish he probably deserved. We'll see if he can charge up front here today at Bristol. Steve Parks, Sterling Marlin back in row 11 and row 12. Good short track racer. Very underrated one nonetheless. Kenny Schrader on the inside of that row. Mike Skinner to his outside. Rookie Casey Mears inside in row 13. Outside will be Season 1 Daytona 500 winner Kevin Harvick. Harvick still looking for his first win here on Season 2. Christian Fittipaldi and Greg Biffle will be in row 14. Fittipaldi just took over the Rookie of the Year standings lead after that Michigan race earlier today, very narrowly over McMurray. Kevin LePage and Jeremy Mayfield in row 15. In row 16, it'll be Ward Burton and Jeff Green. Green also blew an engine early in that race at Michigan today. Brett Bodine and Jamie McMurray in row 17. McMurray starting 34th. Just mentioned he is very closely in that battle with Fittipaldi, not too far behind him for the Rookie of the Year battle. Kenny Wallace and Kevin Grubb in row 18. Row 19, we've got Kyle Petty and Jimmy Johnson. This is one of the furthest back efforts at the start of the race for Johnson to have to try to charge through the front all season. Johnny Benson and Hermie Sadler in row number 20. In row 21, towards the rear of the field, is going to be Jack Sprague and Ashton Lewis. And rounding out the field all by himself in row 43, it'll be part-time rookie driver this season, Chase Montgomery. Sharpie 500 is about to begin. It is probably my favorite race on the NASCAR schedule, both, I guess, way back when, like we are here in this 2003 season, and beyond. Hopefully you guys enjoy the Rolex 24, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this race here today as the green flag is about to drop at Bristol. Green flag in the air, 500 laps of short track racing underway as they roll off into turn 1. Craven almost went 3 wide off the initial start between Labonte and Kenseth. Kenseth did not take off on that initial start very well at all. And lap 1 is going to be led by Jeff Gordon at the front of the field. 5 bonus points for him early on. Labonte got really loose into turn number 3 that time. Turn 1 rather. Gino drove it in a little deep there as well. Terry Labonte trying to look underneath him. Labonte probably going to be the guy to beat here today, even though we mentioned he's only won 1 of the last 11 races on this schedule. He does have 7 wins on the season. And although he's riding a bit of a cold streak outside that 4th place finish 3 races ago and a win 3 races ago and a 4th place just before that, those are the only 2 top 10s in those last 9 races. Labonte's found himself back to 15th in points. A little over 400 points back, 417 to be exact, but a good day today. Maybe he can get below 400 and just continue to chip his way towards the front. A lot of those short tracks we just mentioned are going to be up on the schedule very soon. He had a fast car at New Hampshire as well. That's another race he can probably win, should be able to win if he has just that good of a car once again. That's coming up in a few races as well. Darlington, he was close to winning at this year until he DNF'd late in that race, so it's an extra 100 miles for this one for the Southern 500. There's a lot of tracks that Labonte was either good at or did win at earlier this season, still on the schedule. A lot of those being mile and shorter tracks, which is the majority of his wins. We got Talladega left. He won at Talladega earlier this year. By no means is Labonte out of this championship hunt. But into the final 12 races, which will be the final 12 after this, he's definitely got to close the gap today at Bristol. We saw how patient he was at the beginning of the year when he had that bad luck at the very, very start of the season. Don't forget, Labonte was all the way back 38th in points 5 races into the year because of how terrible of a start to the season he had. 4 DNFs in the first 5 races. He's got 9 of them on the season now, but that means he's only had 5 in pretty much the entire rest of the year after that. That's going to come back to haunt him if he can't win this title this year. But this car has speed. He was top 10 in first practice, and he was actually top 5 in happy hour. Qualified 9th. Should have a fast car today. And again, winning at Bristol earlier this year, although it was in the daytime, not the nighttime, so the grip, the seasonal change from when they raced there earlier this year to now is going to be a little different. But this is definitely a winnable race. Slide of the tires into turn 1, nothing too major. Little wide entry into turns 1 and 2 that time for Terry Labonte.
Number 9 was gaining on you.
Something that's kind of helped with the short tracks because the straightaways aren't as long, so there's not as much time for me to get out of shape with this analog stick. I think that's been part of the success leading into this one. Bill Elliott just ran right into the back of Terry Labonte there. Elliott ran into the back of him at Michigan at a more high-rated speed, which ended his day earlier. Tough break to go out of my personal home track as far as the Cup Series is concerned. Almost slid up into Elliott Sadler. That was a close one. Tony Stewart qualified 17th. He is trying to get into the top 10 now. Working to the inside of Elliott Sadler off of turn 4 for that 10th spot. Tony Stewart trying the outside in turns 1 and 2. That didn't quite work.
Keep it behind you if you can. Keep hitting those marks. Leader's about 5 seconds ahead.
Wow. Another big slide. Sadler going to try the outside now. He was able to get back around Tony Stewart. So was Bill Elliott, by the way.
38 arm is still there.
Loose on corner in for Terry Labonte in the opening laps here today at Bristol. Gets it to grip up well in the center of the corner and has a good drive on the exit as he's able to stay in front of Elliott Sadler again. A little better on corner entry that time as he keeps Sadler behind him. But he's definitely struggling outside of that. Elliott to the inside. Labonte left that door open just enough. Bonnie's kind of stuck on the outside. Now he cuts down in front of Sadler, making sure Elliott was going to be the only guy to get around him there. Definitely a handful for Labonte, though.
The 9 car is blocking. The 38 car is gaining on you. Leaders put about 5 seconds on you. Number 9 is getting in your way.
Saw a couple phantom cautions the first time we were at Bristol this season from that car exiting pit road, that first car in the pit box exiting either the backstretch pit road or the front stretch. It really doesn't matter with the two separate pit lanes on this racetrack. And we also had one of those at Martinsville earlier this season as well, so there could very well see one or two of those today if we have green flag pit stops at all.
Keep hitting those marks. Leaders about 5 seconds ahead. No one outside. The 9 car is trying hard.
Ashton Lewis right there, first lap car that Labonte's going to catch in the 10th position as he's all over the back bumper of Bill Elliott once again. Elliott looks to be a little loose on corner entry as well, especially that time into 1 and 2. Bonnie got his car to turn a little bit better down there, but he's being very patient with Bill Elliott right now, knowing that there is a ton of race to go. Has to play that same strategy, just keep the car clean, knowing he's got the speed just like he did at this very racetrack earlier in the season.
The 9 car is going to make it hard for you to get around him.
The toughness of a season-long championship like this one here today is that there is no playoffs. We have 7 wins on the year. Most of them came in the first half of the season. All but one of them in the first half of the season. For Terry Labonte,
The 32 car is looking right. On back.
and he's sitting 15th in points,
Easy now.
but there is no playoffs, making his chances of winning the championship 10 times harder.
Time to go. The leader is about 6 seconds ahead.
The price he's paid with those 9 DNFs this year, although, again, majority of them are not our fault. Some of them are. I'd probably say 3 or 4 of them are, but there's about 4 or 5 of those 9 that it was either the game, somebody taking us out with less than 40 laps to go while leading. That happened twice. Once at Rockingham earlier in the year, and then once at
Just 6 seconds separates you and the leader.
Infineon earlier in the season as well. Elliott was right there behind a lap car, and he got around him a lot quicker than what Labonte said getting through the lap traffic right now. And Elliott's slowly pulling back away from Terry Labonte. Terry's only 6 seconds off the lead, though. 44 laps in. Long ways to go. Ethan, welcome to the stream, by the way. Indeed, the world's fastest half mile. The last great Coliseum. A couple nicknames that go along with this bad, fast racetrack.
Gotta keep the tires in good shape to be fast, buddy.
Another slide into the corner. Craven almost got to the outside of Terry Labonte there.
We're about 7 seconds off the leader's back bumper.
Let's look at the track map even, just how heavy the traffic is all the way around this short track.
Save your tires. We gotta
It's
pick
the
up
stretch of the season for Labonte to get hot. Next 4 races after this. This is a winnable race, as we mentioned. Labonte won at Bristol earlier this year. We go to Darlington next for the Southern 500. Winnable race. He had a fast car there for the 400-mile race earlier in the season. We go to Richmond after that. Labonte won at Richmond this year. Then we go to Dover. Labonte had a fast car, but couldn't quite get the win that day.
using up those tires.
Still had a solid run and finished in the top 10. Then we go to New Hampshire, which he probably should have won if it wasn't for him crashing out because the car downshifted to first gear. Running the automatic transmission while trying to take out Sterling Marlin and get our payback on him. That was another portion where the game kind of costed us. And the body's really sliding it sideways in these corners. Stewart, meanwhile, gets by Craven for 11th. At some point, Labonte's going to have to try to make an aggressive move to get around these lap cars in front of him. He will get around Hermie Sadler that time in turns 1 and 2. And after New Hampshire, we go to New Hampshire and then Dover is what I meant to say. And then after Dover, we go back to Talladega, which again Labonte won at earlier this year. So the next 5 races, 6 if you include this one here tonight at Bristol, are very winnable races for Terry Labonte. And if not a win, at least has to have a solid finish, probably top 5. And we'll see where it's at 6 races from now, if he'll still be in the championship hunt. or if he'll still be quite a ways out. That will be the difference maker. If he's within 200 points at least going into those final 7 races, he's got a good shot. But even from that point on, he'll have to keep the pressure on. I don't think he can afford to DNF anymore this year and still win the title. Not unless he gets even more help than what he already needs.
Only 8 seconds back to the leader. Stay hungry.
Just gets to the inside of Chase Montgomery in the lap car.
The 27 car is still there.
Bonnie's just kind of letting the car slide, though, on corner entries. Not overcorrecting it. This is a high-banked racetrack. Actually kind of one of the easier tracks to drive in this game. You really get a good run off the banking if it starts to slide, you know, up a little bit, kind of like it's doing right here. I'm just letting the car slide and not trying to overcorrect it, especially with this analog stick. And it's working out. Obviously, Labonte's in the top 10 still, right about where he qualified today. That's consistent enough. You obviously want to win this prestigious race, Bristol, under the lights. A race every driver would want to win within the sport of NASCAR. But when you're this late in the season, again with just 13 races to go, you have to be thinking championship.
Keep digging. Still need to pick up about 8 seconds off the leader.
Got one eye. You're clear.
It's going to be a 2 to 3 stop race. Probably 3 pit stops if I had to imagine.
On your line. You're still there. Make it easy.
As we'll see. We had 6 cautions here the first race
Is going for the block.
at Bristol for the Food City 500 earlier in the season.
Only 8 seconds back to the leader. Stay hungry. Keep racing.
Bonnie just over 8 seconds off the lead. He's running down Bill Elliott again for that 9th spot. Kind of fluctuates back and forth with this battle. Elliott seems to get through the lap traffic a little bit better than Labonte. Bonnie got a great run off turn 4, but he slid a little too much into turns 1 and 2. He's still side by side for 9th as Elliott is still on the outside. I think Labonte would be able to get around him a lot easier if he wasn't sliding so much going into the corner. It's a lot harder to do that when he's making a pass. It's not very costly when he's single file. But there's so many cars all the way around this track. Labonte gets really loose into turns 1 and 2. 3 and 4 rather, and tags the wall very lightly.
Your tires.
Elliott got right back around him. Bonnie again just kind of pushing that issue a little too hard.
The 9 car is going to make it hard for you to get around him.
Too hard with, you know, older tires obviously as well. Forced Labonte to get extremely loose there. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles when we get back to the start-finish line right here.
Still need to pick up about 8 seconds off.
Early in this race.
The 9 car is trying a lot.
Wow, look at how deep Elliott drove it in there. So he just tries to put the bumper to Kyle Petty. And boy, did he. Bonnie gonna get underneath Petty as well himself, get right around him.
Number 9 is throwing a block on you.
Kyle Petty's hanging in there. Bonnie rubbed up the racetrack right into him. And now move back to the inside of Bill Elliott again. Slides getting into the corner, side by side off the exit of turn 2 again for 9th between the 9 car and Terry Labonte in the 5. Labonte slides past him going into turn 3, so Labonte right back to where he started in the 9th position now. Pushed it too hard there, got in the wall. Not a hard thing to do here at Bristol.
Don't let him by, but try not to hold him up either.
Trying to block Elliott now and keep him from getting back around him. Even though Labonte made the pass, the battle's still going on for the position.
We're about 7 seconds off the leader's back bumper.
Bonnie got back to the gas really, really well off of turn 2.
Best place for him is in your rear.
Mike Skinner's the next lap car, right in front of him. Bonnie slides into turns 3 and 4 again.
Okay, time to go. The leader is about 6 seconds.
Running the mini wheats paint scheme here tonight. He's had a little bit of success with the scheme so far this season.
Go easy on those Eagles, driver. Number 4, still there.
There's Mike Skinner off of turn 4.
You don't want him getting beside us.
Bonnie was 8 seconds off the lead. He's actually only 6.4 off the lead now. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream.
Just 6 seconds separates you and the leader. Gotta keep him behind you. Take care of those Goodyear Eagles. Come on, buddy, we're 6 seconds back. Let's get up
A
there.
bump to the back of Jeremy Mayfield. Gets him out of the way quickly. Bonnie, a man on a mission right now. Laps are winding by quick. So we're still caution free at Bristol for the Sharpie 500.
Number 11 is outside. The 11 car is looking hot. You're clear. Okay, time to go. The leader is about 6 seconds ahead.
Gotta say, I'm not saying it's a good thing we crashed out of that race earlier today, but it's nice knowing to have a lot of energy because we didn't even get halfway through the race earlier today to run the full 500 laps here today at Bristol. Though we're less than 100 in, we'll see where I'm at 400 laps from now. But Bonnie's starting to get a little quicker here on this longer run. About 5.5 seconds off the lead. 7th place Dale Jr. right in front of him.
Keep hitting those marks. The leader's about 5 seconds ahead. You should be about halfway.
And about halfway through the fuel run. Junior got really tight. Even at the very start of the race, it looked like Junior was kind of drifting up the racetrack. Well, not drifting up the racetrack, but kind of pushing up the racetrack. It didn't look like the rear tires were really sliding. It was more the front tires just weren't able to turn. Labonte has been loose on entrance this entire opening run. There's a good chance he's probably going to tighten it up under the first pit stop. See if that helps at all. Bonnie to the inside of Dale Jr. For position, kind of using the lap car's Jack Sprague as a pick. That's one way to get on by Jr. Great run off of turn 4. Labonte's still battling hard. But now it's with the other Dale Jarrett. And a little bump and a run to get by Jarrett for position. Ooh, overdrove turn 1 a little bit. Got into the lap car of Johnny Benson. Labonte in a race high 6th position, 90 laps into the race. Mark Martin for position, not too far ahead of him. I don't know how Labonte kept it off the wall that time. Right behind that Pfizer Ford of Mark Martin. Where Burt got really loose in front of Martin right there. Big run. Labonte going to be a little patient. He lets Martin go. He wasn't going to take it 3 wide. Follow the gap Mark opened up. Where Burton kind of pinched Labonte down, and then Labonte got loose on top of it, getting into the corner, so that obviously didn't help either. Martin getting away from Labonte a little bit. Side-by-side action with a little bit of lap traffic up in front, just inside the top 5. Bonnie back to 4 seconds off the lead. 5 seconds off the lead. It was 4.5. Jeff Gordon almost got in the wall off of turn 2. Mark Martin battling him for position again. And we're almost 100 laps in. Trying to trap Martin behind the lap car of Montgomery. Bonnie drifted right up into Montgomery anyway. Martin hangs on. Out of the inside of Martin. Battle for 5th. Labonte also now to the inside of Jeff Gordon. Trying to trap Gordon behind the lap car of Kevin Grubb. That might work. Gordon's in the wall. Gordon into the wall. Labonte gets around him. Mark Martin now trying to do the same. Lap 100 here today at Bristol. Labonte into Grubb. Knocked him sideways into turn 3. Ryan Newman in 3rd. Kurt Busch actually moved up to 2nd. Race leader's got about a 3-second lead over Kurt Busch right now. Big drive off of turn 2 to the inside of Ryan Newman now. Blowing engine on the inside of the racetrack. That would be Greg Biffle in the 16. He'll get it to pit road. Will stay green. Labonte to 3rd, passing Ryan Newman. His brother Bobby Labonte is the race leader. Only about a second behind Kurt Busch for that 2nd spot now. Bonnie's definitely got to tighten this car up when we get to pit road. Amazing how much tire smoke, especially the later and later we get into this run, that it has been creating. The idea, though, if we do get to green flag stops, is stay out as long as you possibly can. I know those tires are going to be old, and the car's only going to be handling worse and worse over the course of the run. They're already over 100 laps on these tires as we're still caution-free. But you could easily go 2 to 3 laps down if we get a caution in the middle of green flag stops, which, again, we had twice in the first Bristol race this season. Those phantom yellows for the front car out of the pit lane, leaving pit road. That's what the cautions were for. We could easily see that again today. Kind of played into Labonte's favor. This is where Terry Labonte got that first win of the year, was at Bristol on the 6th race of the season. A little bump to the back of Kurt Busch. Casey Mears now moves down in front of Labonte instead. Labonte still beats Kurt Busch through turns 1 and 2. Hasn't cleared him yet. Labonte's still loose. Trying to get underneath the 41 of Mears, get around him, and then Labonte should have 2nd place secured. And he does. Ryan Newman to the back bumper of Kurt Busch for position.
3.5 seconds behind the leader. Number 42 to the back. You're clear.
A couple of teammates right in front of Labonte of Jimmy Johnson and then Joe Nemechek. Kurt Busch, by the way, was able to get to third place, getting around Ryan Newman that last lap. Labonte only 2.9 off the race lead now from his brother. Ryan Newman and Bobby Labonte have probably been the two hottest drivers over the last handful of races. Like a little contact off of turn 4 with a couple lap cars. Bonnie's really trying to get around his teammates cleanly of anybody right now. And he did, both Johnson and Nemechek. Underneath Kyle Petty as well. Steve Park. Wow, Bonnie got loose off of turn 4 that time. He's still loose all the way into 1. Really couldn't catch that race car. We know these guys can push it quite a bit further yet on fuel. How much are these tires going to be able to take again as well? Pit stops are probably going to be within 165 to 180 laps into this race as far as a full fuel run goes. Just got underneath Robbie Gordon off of turn 4. Still underneath him. Still loose. And he'll clear him off of turn 4. Stays in front of him despite how loose that race car got. Had a lot of clean air in practice as well that kind of helped the handling. I don't know what it is with this game. And it's got to be the dirty air in traffic. But it seems looser with the analog stick and everything else when I'm in the race. But when I'm in practice, I run perfectly fine. It doesn't make any sense. And that's the only explanation I can think of. Well, obviously, we weren't on 125 lap old tires either, like we are right now, which is insane. But it was loose even before this point. Well, Sterling Marlin's up here. Labonte wants to get payback on him still. But I think for right now, towards the end of this run, the best bet for him is get around him cleanly. If you have a shot to get him late in the race, if you need a caution, that's fine. But let this race run green right now. He's up to second place. He's got a really clean race car. Just wants to keep it that way. But it's going to be a tough pass to get around both Marlin and Waltrip. I think Waltrip's mad enough to take a swing at him. Marlin might not be anymore. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, minus 80 on Waltrip. So Labonte's going to have to make a move. Old tires. I don't think it's going to take much contact if Waltrip tries to take a swing at him. Underneath him he goes. Waltrip runs him down. Waltrip tries to turn him into the corner. Hits him again and tries to turn him. And Labonte gets by.
Number 15, top five.
Slides into turns 1 and 2.
Clear.
Waltrip for 2 consecutive corners about hooked Terry Labonte right on his right rear in the center of the corner.
Just 1 second back. He may try to pay you back.
Labonte continues his charge for the lead, and we stay green.
Still beside you. You're clear.
Side-by-side lap traffic, Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick. Right in front of Labonte. I was about to say Sadler slid into the corner. Labonte slid in there a lot more drastically.
With the leader, stay with him. I'd like to see him stay back there. Number 29, top five. The 29 car
Ooh.
is still there.
There's a move up the track. He cleared Harvick, though. Bobby Labonte's led a lot of laps now in this race. But his brother, Terry Labonte, about 0.3 of a second behind him, and Terry's looking for his first lead of the race. On massively old tires, on a massively long green flag run to start today's race. Bobby still leads the lap at the line. But Terry Labonte is right there. Side by side for the lead all the way through 1 and 2. Jack Sprague's in the way of Bobby Labonte. Terry uses him as a pick. Contact, though, with Sprague. Slight contact with Sprague. Terry Labonte will still lead his first lap of the race, and that's 5 bonus points.
Left front tire's a little warm. Got one eye. Okay, we're clear. The 27 car, top five. Clear.
Three wide.
Hold that line.
Bonnie kind of ducks in behind him.
You're clear.
Now decides to just follow Montgomery past Bodine. Bonnie on very old tires. It is going to be a pain trying to get to pit road here at Bristol under green flag conditions. Again, if that is the case.
All right.
Super old tires.
Still beside you. Number 27 is looking right. All clear lanes. Go easy on those Eagles, driver.
1.3-second lead. There's the top 5 on the running order you see on the right hand of your screen every single lap. Ooh, almost slid in Kenseth.
They're on both sides.
Bonnie's done a great job keeping that car clean. Outside of Waltrip, trying to turn him for a couple laps there. Bonnie's had a fairly clean race car.
All right.
Again, just trying to keep it that way.
Clear. Might be time for a new
All 4 tires in the yellow.
Number 22, top five. Okay, we're clear.
Oh, Labonte into Kevin Grubb. Off turn 4. Back underneath him off turn 2. I'll beat him into turn 3 that time.
22 coming up quick.
Been trying to put Matt Kenseth the lap down for a handful of laps. Gets off turn 4 really well. Kenseth gave the bottom open. Terry's so good on corner exit. Corner entry, he's just been loose since the drop of the green flag.
All clear, man.
But he'll get around Kenseth there. Another driver racing for the championship. Matt Kenseth has been for most of the year. Won the actual title in 2003. Can he win this one? On this game that takes place in that very year. This is his only Cup Series championship in his long career. Though he had a lot more accolades to pile on afterwards, it was his only championship.
You're clear. Outside. Be careful. You're using up those tires. Oh, John, you still there? All clear, buddy.
Over 150 laps into this run.
Outside.
Nobody's been able to sweep any of the couple racetracks we've gone to for the second time. We've only had 3 races where we've raced at more than once. Or 3 racetracks that we've raced at more than once up to this point in the year until today, with being our 4th here at Bristol. I can't wait to put new tires on this car. That Busch is closing in on Bobby Labonte, who hasn't gotten through the lap traffic as good as he was. Within a second of each other for that second spot on the racetrack. Oh! Bonnie slid into Kyle Petty. That's not bad enough to take a swing at him yet. Really close, though.
You let him by. He's gonna make things tough on him. Outside. Still there.
Into Jeff Burton.
The leaders are mid.
Burton gonna go lap down. Oh, contact with Ward Burton now. Both the Burton brothers.
The 99 car is outside. You can't win a race.
Bonnie's not taking care of that right side very well right now. He's trying.
Best place for
Got our first drivers hitting pit road over the last couple laps. Terry's just getting loose on the exit of the corners now. Those first, like, maybe 120, 130 laps, he was loose on entrance, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. But now it's loose on exit as well if he gets back into the gas too soon, giving him great straightaway speed as well.
Some of the leaders are coming in together. The 97 car is coming right.
Underneath Ward Burton off turn 4 that time. Definitely going to have to be careful of who might be coming to pit road. Still 4 cars on the lead lap yet that have to pit. And we got a caution. Caution on the racetrack. Might be a phantom yellow. No race back to the caution flag at lap 162. Our first yellow of the day. Kurt Busch, by the way, just got either a lap back or... Oh, never mind. It wasn't a phantom yellow. Hard crash, and Ryan Newman is done for the day. Came in 7th in the point standings. Newman gets rear-ended by Kevin Grubb and Jeff Gordon. In the wall goes Elliott Sadler. A 4-car crash at lap 162. That brings out our first caution. I think Newman just ran it out of gas. Labonte's going to pit under the yellow. And that's going to trap so many drivers a lap down here. Labonte's going to put a half around a wedge into the car. Going to repair any sort of damage on the race car as well under this first stop. A couple other drivers came to pit road there under the caution.
The field stayed out that time, so there will be a lot of cars in front of us.
Looks like Bobby Labonte will restart from the lead. Green flag back in the air once again. Just 4 cars on the lead lap. Boy, that caution trapped so many drivers a lap down. But here we go again. Lap cars to the inside of the lead lap cars. Terry Labonte in the wall a little bit. They're 3 wide. Bonnie's still trying to hang on to it. Finally does. Waltrip trying to turn him from behind. Waltrip tried to turn Terry Labonte, and then Marlin got in the back of him. We know their history. So a couple rivals are just sandwiched, or I should say are sandwiching Terry Labonte, and Labonte wants to get back at Waltrip. That's the second time he's tried to take him out here. Tempers flaring under the lights at Bristol. Had to have known something like that was going to happen. Bonnie, as it was, didn't have a very good restart. Bonnie's going to have to get to his outside at some point here. Rusty Wallace is trying to block off Waltrip as well. The worst thing is Michael Waltrip's a lap down right now, and he's still bullying Terry Labonte. The second straight race, my add. He was doing that in Michigan earlier today as well. Bonnie all the way to the inside of Steve Park. Might be a little bit before Labonte could get back at Waltrip, perhaps. Lap traffic's probably going to have to get in his way. They'll get him eventually here. Bonnie to the inside of his teammate Jimmy Johnson. Labonte's closing in closer and closer to the back bumper of Michael Waltrip. Probably going to have to follow him to get on by Jamie McMurray here first. Still have some drivers that haven't pit. Race leaders coming into the pits. Bobby Labonte on the pit road. Surprised not everybody hit pit road under that caution. Strange decision there by Bobby Labonte. Maybe it was just him trying to lead more laps. I don't know. Rusty Wallace, by the way, is in second place. The reason why he is holding Waltrip back is he knows Labonte's right behind him. Though Labonte's right now trying to run down and chase Michael Waltrip more than anything else. Can't really share draft here at Bristol either, so if it's going to matter. Labonte's only chance to even get around Waltrip is probably turning him anyway. I mean, let's be honest, because Waltrip gets a chance, he's going to try to turn Labonte again, even if Labonte gets ahead of him or alongside of him, as we saw earlier in the first 100 laps. Dale Jarrett leading here at Bristol. Maybe even get his second win in a 3-race stretch. Won at Watkins Glen last night, 2 races ago. That was a race that had a lot of cautions, 8 of them at the Glen, all in the first 60 laps. Waltrip might get underneath Rusty Wallace one of these times. I think he's a little bit faster than Rusty. Rusty probably played as a huge benefactor to that last caution that his teammate Ryan Newman was involved in. Teammate just came off the pit lane. It might have been Elliott Sadler. Lonnie trying to get the wall trip. He's so close, but he's not able to get close enough to get alongside or at least get to that corner panel. Starting to slide into the corners a little bit. Slightly overdriving it again, trying to get the wall trip. Better corner entry that time in 1 and 2. As Labonte looks to use the chrome horn here as we're getting closer to lap 200 in tonight's race at Bristol. Jared's lead is slipping away. Rusty Wallace is starting to run him down for the lead, and so is Terry Labonte. Lap traffic not helping Rusty at all right now. Wow, Waltrip got loose. So did Labonte in turns 1 and 2. Johnson's starting to run down Terry Labonte now. Waltrip's holding him up maybe a little too much. Rusty Wallace less than a half a second off the lead. There is a lap car between the top two. Bonnie trying to get to the rear bumper of Michael Waltrip. So frustrating that he's so close. Just can't do anything about it. Oh, overdrove the corner on the exit of turn 2 that time. A little aero sensitive, getting as close behind Waltrip as he has been. Johnson right there. Junior starting to close into the picture as well. Very intense here between Waltrip and Labonte. Labonte's starting to lose that lead a little bit, but so is Rusty Wallace. Wallace has lost 0.3 of a second, as well as Terry Labonte from the race leader, Dale Jarrett. Another hit into the wall that time. Waltrip's got a lap car right in front of him. Waltrip slides up the track, so does Labonte. Both drivers catch it. Oh, Johnson into the back of his teammate, Terry Labonte. Jimmy's trying to say, hey, let me go. Bump to the back of the 15, and around goes Labonte. Sliding down the track, that's going to bring out a caution at lap 199. He slid up the track a little too much into Waltrip and crowded him off of turn 2. That's not exactly what he had in plan there. And NASCAR is going to throw the yellow. That was a great save by Terry Labonte. Wait, he was pointed towards that inside pit wall off the exit of turn 2. Labonte going to pit. Brought out the caution, so not going to repair any tires. Or sorry, replace any tires, but he will repair whatever damage he's got on the race car right now. Don't want the unfair advantage of putting tires or fuel on it when we brought the caution out. It's usually what I try to do. So almost halfway. 2 cautions in the first 200 laps tonight. Kurt Busch is actually up to 3rd place, so Labonte does lose 1 spot, but quickly Terry Labonte gets to the inside lane in front of Dale Jr. on the restart. Michael Waltrip trying to get back on the lead lap as well to the inside of the race leader. Actually got around Dale Jarrett for the moment. Waltrip's got the clean air. He's going to get around Johnson as well for position. So I believe that would actually put Mikey in 5th. Big wheel hop by both Labonte brothers getting into turns 3 and 4. Bobby's a lap down right now. Terry going to get right around him. Oh, Kurt Busch puts the bumper to Dale Jarrett. They're 3 wide. And squeezing into the wall goes Steve Park. 3 wide. Jarrett tries to move Park again. They're 3 wide again. Park again's in the wall. First off turn 4, then turn 2. That's going to lose Dale Jarrett not 1 but 2 spots to Kurt Busch and then Terry Labonte. Labonte squeezed by both Jarrett and Steve Park. And up to 3rd place goes Terry Labonte, right behind Kurt Busch for 2nd. And about a 2.5 seconds off the lead from, again, Rusty Wallace, who is out in front. Rusty had a great restart to get around Jarrett. Rusty's going to put Jimmy Johnson a lap down again. Kurt Busch slid the tires just a little bit in the center of the corner. Labonte looks low, but he can't quite stay there. Terry got a little loose off turn 4 himself. Not much, just enough that he couldn't stay underneath Kurt Busch, though. Closes really close, though, off turn 4. Got to find a way to get Kurt Busch off the bottom. He doesn't want to use the bumper. Trying to save that for when he gets to Waltrip so he doesn't give himself heavy damage when he tries to turn Michael, maybe even Sterling Marlin later. Who knows? He's trying so hard to get to Kurt Busch. Under him off of 4. He's there. Into turn 1. Oh, Kurt Busch continues to hang on to 2nd place. Kurt led some laps early on. He's won a couple times at Bristol in his career. He was really good here early in his career. Also got a win, though, in 2018 in the Bristol night race. So Busch knows how to win at this racetrack and under the lights. Seems like Labonte gets off the exit of the corner a lot better, and Kurt Busch drives it in a little bit better. Thought he was going to have a move into turn number 1, and he just gets to the inside into turn 3. Slides the tires, keeps it off of Kurt Busch, though. Great job, and still not quite clear. Kurt Busch is hanging in there and now clear in the middle of 1 and 2. Terry Labonte back to 2nd place again. He hasn't led a lot of laps today, but he's now going to try to go after Rusty Wallace for the late race lead. Not the late race lead, but the race lead. We're almost halfway already, though. 2 cautions so far tonight. Ryan Newman ran out of gas that got piled into from behind by Kevin Grubb. Then Jeff Gordon, Elliott Sadler got in the wall in that accident as well. And then Labonte spun off turn 2, but saved it after contact with Waltrip in the center of turns 1 and 2. And Labonte got squeezed, and everybody missed him, and he spun to the inside. Those are the 2 cautions, both in the first 200 laps of the race. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so, and hit that like button if you haven't as well. XX Games, welcome to the stream. Yep, we did run a doubleheader today. We ran at Michigan earlier. We didn't get a lot of viewers earlier today at Michigan. I don't know if you guys didn't have your notification bells set or what it was, but... Well, the race was pretty short, too, because we crashed out of it, unfortunately. But That wasn't our fault if you go back and watch it once again. Oh, Johnson moves Wallace. Jimmy trying to get back on the lead lap. And that's going to allow Labonte to close in on the race leader. Labonte for the lead to the inside of Rusty Wallace. Johnson kind of paved the way for that, and Terry Labonte follows his teammate to get to the lead. How about that? Terry Labonte back out in front, but now he's trying to put Johnson a lap down again. We know Jimmy's got a fast race car. Rusty Wallace right there for the taking, perhaps. Good contact. Bonnie to the inside of Waltrip. Sorry, to the inside of Johnson. Johnson got loose in the corner as Labonte got tight. Johnson in the wall off turn 2 as well. That's not going to help. Yeah, we started at noon Eastern Standard Time earlier today. Man, Waltrip's up to minus 100 now after Bonnie got her on. He's going to get payback on Waltrip sooner or later, though. Oh, this might be the chance. Oh, it was going to be, but Labonte got a little tight off of turn 2. He needs to get to that right rear corner panel of Waltrip before he tries to get around him. Or not get around him, but try to turn him, I should say. Get very dicey. Labonte knows he's going to have to get to the outside. Almost ended up in the wall. Not that high. Waltrip trying to get around Kevin LePage. Labonte slides the tires a little bit too much there. Labonte following Waltrip to get by Kevin LePage for now as Labonte looks for payback on Waltrip for the multiple times he ran into him already earlier. As well as at Michigan. He just gets too loose on corner entry. Man, Waltrip just moved Brett Bodine up the racetrack as well. Contact further up ahead. Christian Fittipaldi put the bumper to somebody as well. Fittipaldi in the lead for the Rookie of the Year standings coming into today's race. Oh, contact. Montgomery and Labonte into turn 3. Labonte slides again. Waltrip's trying to stay on the lead lap right now, by the way, as well. Car just keeps getting looser and looser on the long run. Waltrip trying to make a pass under Fittipaldi. He will. Bonnie trying to do the same. Oh, man, Waltrip just moves Jack Sprague out of the way. Bonnie getting by Sprague now. Oh, trying to. A little contact. A couple times there. Bonnie slid right up into Sprague. Terry again trying to race Michael Waltrip. Blown engine on the inside of the track. Rusty Wallace has blowing his engine for the second time in 3 races. Did it while running in the top 5 at Watkins Glen, and now running in second here today at Bristol. Blows his engine once again. Ken Schrader tried to put the bumper back there as well. He's just too loose. He can't even get alongside Waltrip. Man, there's contact again up there from the 15 and the 5. We're almost halfway done here today in the Bristol night race. Sharpie 500. Schrader, for about the 3rd time now, has tried to move that lap car he's battling with. I'm not sure if it's 4 position or not. Oh! He put him in the wall. That wasn't intentional. Bonnie just kind of got hooked on him. Analog stick got Labonte loose down the front straightaway there. Loses time to Waltrip and will try to gain it back. Bonnie's only got a 1.1 second lead over Dale Jarrett. 2.5 seconds off the lead is Kurt Busch in 3rd. Everybody's trapped a lap down because that first caution came out and trapped a lot of guys a lap down. Right at about, actually it was at exactly lap 162. And somehow Labonte's going to have to get underneath. Or sorry, get to the outside of Michael Waltrip, and now he does. Labonte is right there, but Waltrip again shuts the door. And I really thought that was the opportunity Labonte needed to get to the outside of Waltrip so he could try and hook him. Waltrip knows that payback's coming. He's trying to avoid it as much as he can. At all costs, trying to avoid it. And Schrader kind of in the way now. Another lap car of Kevin Grubb. Gonna be in the way. Dale Jarrett is only 9/10 of a second off the lead now. He is coming. And Labonte is trying to just get Waltrip out of the way, and Waltrip is cutting him 0 slack. 0.8 of a second is the difference. Jarrett 1/10 of a second faster, and he's in lap traffic. Heavier lap traffic. There's just one car in front of Labonte. Waltrip already tried taking Terry Labonte out a couple times, as mentioned. Just past the halfway point today at Bristol. Labonte 0.2 of a second past that last lap. Jarrett's got heavier lap traffic around him, though. Oh, there's a little bump. Labonte to the outside, and he turns Waltrip into the corner. Oh, Jarrett piles in. Waltrip's upside down. Big crash. Both cars get taken out.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of cars out there that could have won this thing.
Jarrett, who was about a second off the lead, piled in right after the caution waved as they were racing back to the line after Labonte had tried to spin Waltrip.
Multiple cars, and a race like this won't set them back too far. It's the guys that only have 1 or 2 cars that suffer the most. But hey, it'll make you learn to take care of your car in a hurry.
Terry Labonte probably won't be hanging out after the race with Dale Jarrett.
It should be interesting the next time they get next to each other on the racetrack.
Here's the replay.
Nobody wants to back down, and we could see some sparks fly.
We hope you enjoyed the
Wow.
race tonight. For everyone here at EA Sports, good night.
Ken Schrader piled hard into Waltrip. 3 straight DNFs for Terry Labonte. Just past the halfway point at Bristol, too. I mean, he hooked him, but then Labonte's car just turned straight up the racetrack. Right in front of Dale Jarrett, who just had nowhere to go. Jarrett was the innocent bystander and all that. That was when Waltrip was trying to take him out earlier in the race. The first time he tried to take him out. And he did it again a little later. That's why Labonte was trying to get payback on him. That did not end well at all. Bobby Labonte's going to go on to win today's race, his second win of the season. Leading 145 laps here at Bristol. He had a fast car early on, pitted under green, but man, that was a heartbreaker for Terry Labonte, and he just can't break the skid of bad luck. That was tough. Steve Park finishes second. Jimmy Johnson third. Dale Jarrett still finishes fourth, despite being in that accident. And Kurt Busch rounds out the top 5. Dale Jr. 6th. Ricky Rudd 7th. Matt Kenseth 8th. Jeff Gordon 9th. And Mark Martin rounds out the top 10. We'll take a look at who all DNF'd in this one. Ryan Newman blew an engine early on. We saw that. Jeremy Mayfield blew an engine. And then Michael Waltrip and Terry Labonte both taken out in that accident. On the racetrack, it looked like as well, and still were able to get in front of Waltrip and Labonte there at the end. Man, that is a heartbreaker for Terry Labonte. He led 91 laps. Just past the halfway mark here today in the Sharpie 500. But Bobby Labonte will get the max points day, leading the most laps and getting the win. Still 12 races to go on the season, but the uphill climb continues for Terry Labonte. I'm regretting spinning him out. Obviously, because of, the hindsight of things. Hindsight's always 20/20. But man, we'll see how bad the points are looking now. Dale Jr. still the points leader, grows it by 10 more points. He's steadily growing over Gordon, but not by a lot. Gordon's still second. He's 46 points back now. Dale Jarrett third in points. Matt Kenseth in fourth. The top 4 still within 1 race of each other. Mark Martin's 5th. Bobby Labonte with that win moves up to 6th. He's still in the championship hunt. Had a max points day today. Jeff Burton 7th. 8th is Kurt Busch. Tony Stewart up to 9th. Kevin Harvick back to 10th. Newman fell outside the top 10 in points, went in 7th. Rusty Wallace blew an engine as well. Fell back in the points. And Terry Labonte didn't lose any spots in points today, but he loses over 100 points again. 3 races ago, Terry Labonte was 227 points back. 3 straight DNFs, he's now 524 back. It's how quickly things can spiral out of control. Where Labonte was 9th in points and still had a realistic shot of winning the championship. And now, I mean, we mentioned it's going to be an uphill climb, but It's just gotten even steeper. Well, next race is going to be tomorrow night at Darlington for the Southern 500. We'll go through the remaining races here. Southern 500 at Darlington will take place tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then on Monday at 7 p.m. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go to Richmond. Labonte did win at Richmond earlier this year, and he almost won Darlington. So there is a realistic shot to win both those races. He almost won at New Hampshire. That will be coming up Wednesday night at 7. Thursday night at Dover, that was another race that he ran well at. Didn't have the fastest car, but he finished top 10. And then Talladega. After that, another race that Labonte won at earlier this year. So, I mean, there is hope. But he's going to need some help on top of him actually running well to the end of the season if he's going to want to win the championship. Thanks for everybody watching here today with both races of the doubleheader. I think both races combined, we combined to maybe finish one full race with the doubleheader today, unfortunately. But we were running 2 is the problem. And like I said, combined is another problem. We DNF'd out of both of them, so that's very unfortunate. What is that? Between last night's stream, that's 3 DNFs in less than 24. In less than 24 hours, we went from 9th in points, 227 back to 15th in points. And way more points back now. Tune in tomorrow night, see what happens next on this final season of NASCAR Thunder 04. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Like, share, most importantly, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. And I will see you guys tomorrow night at 6 at Darlington, another Crown Jewel Southern 500. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you tomorrow.